Hey gang, what's going on? Welcome to Talkin Vegas All Day with KA. As always, I'm your host KA, and on today's episode, we are going to be exploring a little bit of Vegas history by talking about some of the resorts, hotels, and casinos that were planned but never built. But before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, click subscribe, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you can be updated when we drop new episodes. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive into some hotels, resorts, and casinos that were never built.
Let's go to Vegas, baby. Let's go tonight.
Right now.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll stay up all night. Let's go to Vegas. Let's get away.
Starting off today, we're going to look at one of the first hotels, resorts, casinos that was never built, and that one is called the Desert Kingdom. So around 1993, it was announced by IT Sheraton that they were going to spend around $750 million to build a theme park, casino, and hotel, which was going to be placed roughly around 34 acres adjacent to what they had recently purchased earlier in the year, the Desert Inn Hotel Casino. The resort was going to include 3,500 hotel rooms. It was going to be around 135,000 square feet in the casino. They're going to have 9 restaurants and a family-oriented fantasy attraction theme park that was going to include a riverboat that was going to carry the visitors under the main casino through the show space and into a nighttime water show on the lagoon. The theming of this was going to be African savanna throughout the resort. Now that sounds to me really cool because this was kind of pre-Lion King. So I kind of envision that as almost being like pre-Venetian with the gondolas and all that, traveling through with the Grand Canal shops. Very, very cool idea because that wasn't around, certainly not yet. I would really have loved to have seen this. As you can see, I'm putting some pictures up here. You can see some of the sketches. Really, really cool looking idea. However, what happened was Sheraton switched games mid-year because they bought Caesars instead, and they used that money they invested to buy some of Caesars, and then they decided to scrap the Desert Kingdom project, and that is why it was never meant to be, unfortunately. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the Crown Las Vegas. This one's really cool because it was going to set a couple world record marks, but again, it was never meant to be. Originally, it was going to be named the Las Vegas Tower, and it was proposed to be a super skyscraper that would have been built on the Las Vegas Strip. The tower would have been about 1,887 feet, making it the tallest building in the United States and the 5th tallest overall in the world. The tower would have been built right where the former Wet n Wild site was located, and the cost would have been around $5 billion. Now, initially, they had projected this hotel to be complete around 2014. However, they ran into a little bit of trouble, as the FAA stated that anything over 700 feet on the site chosen for the tower would constitute an air hazard due to commercial flights flying in to and from McCarran, and then also flights flying in to Nellis Air Force Base. They tried to resubmit the plans to make the tower only about 1,150 feet. However, around 2017, the FAA nixed that idea, and after 2 more tried redesigns, the project ultimately failed. And that's a shame because just looking at this looks like a luxury first-class hotel, some really cool theming, and it just never seemed to happen. Next, the Titanic. In 1999, Bob Stupek was planning a 400-foot high recreation of the RMS Titanic to be built on a 10-acre property that he owned in downtown Las Vegas. During that time, they were building all those park kind of attractions in the early 90s and so on. Downtown seems like a very interesting place to put a 400-foot recreation of Titanic. Not saying it's bad, but just a unique thing. And I think Bob was onto something a little bit. He liked to think outside the box. The resort would have included 1,200 rooms, 800 of which would be used for timeshares to help finance the project. I found that interesting. And would have had a few hotels, restaurants, and casinos. The project was initially planned in an area that the commission wouldn't allow zoning for hotels. So he tried to later plan the former site of the El Ranchero on the Strip, which made sense. But again, that was vetoed by the Las Vegas City Council. Unfortunately, the RMS Titanic never came to be. I just picked that one out because, folks, I thought that was a really cool idea. I think there's a whole bunch of ideas. If you go on a couple websites that have this, where I do some of my research, you'll see a whole bunch of other ones. This one actually kind of really caught my attention just because the rooming seemed optimal. And I think you really could do some cool things based on the movie. You could have that recreation, artifacts. I know the Titanic exhibit that was at the Luxor a few years back was really popular, and my wife and I had gone through that and we loved it. You could have brought some of those elements to it. It'd been a really cool historic, and also kind of recreate what it was like to be on the Titanic. And finally today, we're gonna go to the moon. No, not literally. The Moon Resort and Casino was a lunar-themed mega hotel and gambling destination, according to the investors, that was proposed back in 2002 in Las Vegas. According to the press release, the luxurious $5 billion, 10,000-room, 5-star, 5-diamond, 250-acre moon resort looked exactly like the moon. The complex were replicated the moon, along with multiple floors of gaming, culminating an all-night party at the top of the resort of the Metropolis Discotheque. At the center of the resort, there would have been a complex called the Crater Wave Moon, which would have had private pools and spas. It would have been named the Sea of Serenity Aquatic Center. It would also had water slides as well. That just sounds cool. It sounds like kind of like they were trying to throw a little bit of a theme park, a water park in there or around the moon structure. I really like that. Lunar Landing Lounge was also going to be a pool, bar, and gaming way, which was going to be located beneath the pool surface. They would have had a moon buggy activity landscape that let them drop guests in the seat of the Apollo moon landing, one of their favorite famous cruisers, and go around. And they would have had a rock climbing wall as well, where you could have climbed on the moon. However, over the 10-year planning phase, nothing really got off the ground, and the Moon Hotel and Casino just really never came to be, unfortunately. But as you can see on these pictures here, it's an architectural amazing wonder, and I just absolutely love it. I wish this would have happened, because just the pool with the pool bars and just the slides, it just sounds like a really cool concept for something just totally unique, something mega massive, which I love when I go to Vegas, exploring some of these massive, really uniquely themed casinos. While I love the old school stuff, that's my favorite thing. It's so refreshing sometimes when new ideas come out and they're just grandiose. That's why I love going to the conservatory at the Bellagio. It's just so out there, so beautiful, so unique. But yeah, this is a great idea. I wish it would have came to be. So gang, that's all for today's episode. But before we go, just want to give a shout out. I'm going to put the links to the websites below where I got some of my information. Sci-fi.com back in the day posted an article for the moon. Desert Kingdom, we found some information on casino.org, and also the LA Times. Crown Las Vegas, definitely check out Las Vegas Today and Tomorrow. Have great information on all things Las Vegas. But before you guys leave, make sure you leave a comment what you thought about this episode. And also, again, I'm here for you guys. Any episodes you want to see or things we can do to make this podcast better, definitely let me know. And as always, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. So, hey, gang, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time on Talkin Vegas All Day with KA. Take care.